I was always going to leave that on, lads. You know, starts soon. Obviously starts now. Welcome in. Saturday night, Nuggets Europe. Game 2 preview. I'm very sorry, folks. We didn't do a Game 1 recap, but we're going to have to do it now. Unfortunately, I know we don't want to do it. Delighted to be joined by Voya and Brad. Guys, top of the evening to you. Obviously, welcome in. Looking forward to hearing your opinions tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to the very both of you, lads. Voya, let's start with you, man. Hashtag where's Miroslav?
I don't know. I think even he was fatigued after Game 7. He kind of joined the bandwagon on the Nuggets team.
Well, no, I to be honest, I don't blame. Like, I mean, 3 a.m. This, it's difficult for guys, definitely in Central Europe. Easy enough for you, Voya, in Nebraska, but I'm only messing. Were you disappointed with the whole? I mean, like, obviously, what was it, like, 120 to 97? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I think that was the score.
So it's difficult, man. It was obviously a difficult game. I mean, we really had the game lost before halftime. Were you disappointed with how the game went, or do you think with that couple of days of barely any rest, it was to be expected?
Well, it felt expected on Friday, and then it kind of was terrible seeing Houston win after they also had a Game 7. And it was just kind of, I guess Harden coasted in their Game 7, so you can have that excuse. But for at least like a third of the game, it was pretty fun to watch. Like, Nuggets were hanging in there, and like you know, offensively as well. And so that was a pretty welcome sight to see. But you could tell just that was almost like the last gasp. That would have been the overtime of the Utah Game 7 if it went to that. And hopefully they rest up and they're ready to go today. But I think, difference. What I said with Houston, they didn't go 3-1 down, and it wasn't like every game wasn't mental exhaustion. It was more back and forth. So I think that more of like mentally were like one game at a time. So that was just
He's right.
Great.
He's not far off. Yeah.
I feel bad for not bringing him on now, man. I seen he was having a bit of fun on Twitter tonight, but yeah, you're totally right. Bradley, welcome in.
Yeah.
Just calling you Bradley for the crack now. Yeah.
That's all good.
You up like obviously 2 a.m. The game was on Sky Sports for the first time in weeks. Sorry, excuse me, guys. I haven't got coronavirus, in case anybody's wondering. But I'm back in school for a week. Let's see this time next week. God forbid. Yeah. Obviously, here, Bradley, a blowout loss, man. Like, are you disappointed, or it's one thing that we were saying, guys? Obviously, if we can get one of these first 2 games.
Yeah, I kind of think they had their eye on tonight. Well, from what it seemed like for the second half. I have to be honest, I did fall asleep after the first quarter, so I'm probably to blame for why it went so bad, because I'd stayed awake, watched the first quarter, and I thought we played really well. I thought we kept them in the loop, on top. Offensively, we were good. Defensively, we were good. Passed the ball nicely, crisp, crashed net. And then, I had to watch the highlights, so I can never give a real great opinion, but we did look, from what I saw in the second half, looked very, very tired. Murray seemed basically dead on his feet. Honestly, he didn't seem, I wouldn't say disinterested, but he wasn't the man we just seen dominate Utah series. So hopefully now he's had a little bit of rest. They've, given some of the bench some minutes in that last second half. And we'll see how we go tonight. But I think the eye was always on this second game was going to be the one that they'll concentrate on. And I think we'll see a completely different side. Hopefully we'll have a bit more about us tonight and we'll get a win. So.
Via the and you're spot on, Brad, but via the team really played like my phone battery the other night. Yeah. just a little bit tired.
Just a third of it left.
Do you think why we will see much difference tonight? Obviously, like Leonard was so good the other night.
Yeah.
Like my God.
Yeah. It's with him. It's tough. Like you can't really. I think the worst thing about him is that every modern forward analytics, whatever you want to, like every advanced stat you can throw out, efficiencies, 3-point, that goes all out the window with him, because he makes, his shots are mid-rangers and they're usually spot on, and the shots that don't make sense, off angle, free throw line distance, like that's just stuff that you don't even teach to like shoot on a regular basis, just because they're the weirdest distance and weirdest angle to the hoop, and he just makes it so easy. And with him, I don't think that the plan to stop him, I don't think it's gonna be possible. So mostly just you want to stop, Marcus Morris from shooting 4 to 5 on 3-point line, and Patrick Beverley just nailing a couple step backs almost at the beginning of the game. Like that's just something that you do a well enough job on everyone else. Paul George was, it wasn't PG 13%, but it wasn't as great. It was just there. So those games, you want to like hope for, but you can't let the side cast, cast the characters do as well as they did if you want to win. And so that first quarter should have been a little bit of a lead for the Nuggets, how well the Nuggets played. And, because we got a lot of points from Grant, and that's what you want to expect. That's what you want to hope for every game. So, Kawhi
to see in that comment via, he does make them with such accuracy, doesn't he? He's just
exactly. That's just like, because with him, like you want to, you talk about Houston's the layup and 3-point, just like because of analytics, those are the shots that make more sense. But with Kawhi, you want to tell, like you would tell him like, oh, those are not efficient shots, and then you look at his like break, chart break. Like it's just insane what he's making, like 70% within the paint, whatever 65 to 70 outside, like it's just nuts. And it's not always just like open shots. Like he makes them even like Kobe style hard fadeaways, 1-footers, and he always like seems to play at his own pace, which is always you sometimes looks slow, sometimes looks clunky, but then it finishes are so smooth and efficient that you can't really like hope to stop him. You can just hope he's sometimes off, and then the rest of the guys are terrible
as well. Yeah.
And Brad, one guy that didn't come up for you the other night, you're obviously on his train big time, MPJ. You're talking there via about the performance from some players from the Clippers, really on point. Brad, very quiet game from MPJ. That can't happen again tonight.
Yeah, it was. No, I don't think it can. I don't think I'll keep him quiet. I think there's been a lot of calls for him to start, especially with how Millsap's sort of gone off the boil very, very quickly in this playoff series. In the Jazz series, he looked off the pace a little bit. They spoke after the first game, and he was saying that he needs to be a bit more physical. He joked and said, "I'm going to go back to my hotel room and I'm going to do 100 press-ups to get my physicality back." And if he's not going to defend well and he's not going to shoot, he's got to do something. So a bit of physicality might help do something, but they've got to jar it up. I mean, I was looking at the consistency of the shooting. I mean, it was what we got? Field goal percentage of 57 and a half. And I mean, they just gave him too much. I mean, you can't let him shoot that efficiently. You got to put a bit of pressure on him, and they didn't seem to do that. I'm not sure if it was just to let them have the game one and get it out of focus, and then we can concentrate on the rest of the series. But yeah, I mean, the points was average between everyone. They're 7 people in double digits. I mean, you can't let them get away with that in the playoff series. It's too easy. It was nice to see Bol come on with a little cameo. It was quite interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see how much time he gets now going ahead.
One of the main tweets, guys, was somebody, I don't know who it was, I should have screenshotted this, but somebody tweeted they were so annoyed that the Nuggets have done everything right for 5 years, and they play a team like the Clippers who have picked up a couple of guys, in trades or in free agency, and it, I guess in that sense, it is quite easy to, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, picking up guys. But, a lot of guys have obviously picked places, because of the cities, the locations. It can be a bit disheartening, especially whenever you see that talent in that Nuggets team, and they're so close as well.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, especially, I don't know how they feel. I hope they don't care, and you just look at your own backyard and play your own game. But with with the whole we don't skip steps, and you draft properly, and you even takes risks on guys that were like MPJ and Bobo that were even by the Clipper. MPJ, we talked about like his or I don't know if we did, but his comments after the draft were like the Clippers doctors were the ones that essentially put a big red flag on his file, and so then they skipped him twice, and that kind of stuff. And Nuggets, take chances, develop players, are patient, and then one off season, and Clippers destroy their own core that they drafted well to get Kawhi and PJ, and then everyone else just during the season, Morris was with the Knicks, like he got big money, and then it was okay, I want to win the championship. He buys out, goes to picks between two LA teams. His brother gets the lesser one, I guess, or whatever. But like he picks the Clippers. Reggie Jackson as a starter, and he goes from Detroit, gets bought off, and he's a third string point guard. He's more important to get garbage time, but less important to play big minutes and score. Like he was a phantom 13 minutes. He had zeros all over the board, but he's the one that can start on a lot of teams, and it's just crazy like how deep they are. And for me is just like personally like what I get irritated by the Clippers, and I've mentioned this a couple of times in our private chats of what they remind me of is that Kawhi is a big shark that just keeps swimming and he eats and he's a killer, and then you have the rest of the guys that are just those parasitic fish around him that pick up the scraps, but the worst thing with them is that the fish are the ones that are cocky, and they're the ones that are like showboating around, not the actual killer. And it's just so irritating when you see Morris and Beverly and all these guys that haven't done anything are just flexing around, and they're going to be the one showing off with the rings, or quite possibly.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully, I mean, hopefully not. It's just that how it's going. Like you think about the NBA and how like the momentum was always these years with like the players just migrate to the teams they're going to win, and they just load it up so much that you can't even you barely can compete. Hopefully, that's why I'm even plus with with the Nuggets fans obviously, but like I'm rooting even harder for that perspective. Like it would be nice once to like have a team that built it with like properly and old school and didn't have the appeal of the big names to win once.
Yeah.
Hopefully that is. I mean, look, it would be very easy to be very downhearted about this game, but it is realistic. That 2-day break and seeing like you could almost write off that game one to an extent. Just before we move on here, a couple of comments. At least we got Troy Daniels and all about the Clipper fan base. Bunch of bandwagoners. Yeah, I went to like I was in LA what year? 2018, and I was at 3 games in a week. One of them was the Nuggets, actually. First time I've seen the Nuggets in the in LA, ironically. But yeah, the fans, like why, like why? Don't even start me there, like to say no more. But yeah, and obviously now, a whole bandwagon situation. I wanted to maybe focus guys on tonight. I mean, I've seen certain places, ESPN, DNVR, the Stiffs maybe speculate that this is not a must-win game. Oh, come on, Brad! Like this, they have to win this game. Like, you can't go to. You can't go, like I understand.
Well,
this has to be focused as a like it's a full series, but you have to win tonight. Like if this series is going to go at the distance, there has to be a win tonight.
I partially agree. I wouldn't say it's a must-win, but I think if we lose, we're in a pretty bad position.
Precarious.
It's not going to be good at all. Although then we do return to home, so that might have an advantage. No, I don't know. But it's, when you're in a bubble, there's no home games.
Do you think those King Super adverts will help in the Mile High basketball?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it could be a good advantage for this. I don't know. Here, actually, right enough.
Our face in the crowd might help.
I applied to be in the crowd for game 1, and I never checked my emails. Game 1 was a home game, yeah. Oh my god!
No, it's away. Both of them.
Both away first, then third game.
It'd be funny. It'd be funny, like with you get the Zoom calls are only like home fans, and now like the families are there. It'd be funny if they don't allow like MPJ's dad to like watch him, like because it's a Clippers game, and they're just you gotta wait in the hotel and watch the game.
I'm really like I'm typing in Nuggets in my emails. I'm really nervous now about this because I'm like, what if they sent me a link or something and I don't know? You know.
Yeah.
First of all, the game is at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, no, I applied for this game 7 and for the game 3, but I didn't hear anything back. So no, I don't think so. Not that I'm sure I'd make it.
I'd be the worst. I'd be the worst one of those virtual fans. Like,
I'm gonna text.
You can't really do anything either. Like,
I'm gonna text.
When I'm at home, I can throw stuff around and swear and do whatever I want to do. Yeah.
Oh man! So there's no today is. Oh, hold on. Thank you for your interest in. Oh, hold on. Thank you for your interest in the Denver Nuggets virtual. Did you get this virtual fan experience? The Denver Nuggets versus the Los Angeles Clippers on September the 3rd is currently full, but we have placed you on our virtual fan wait list. We will notify you if a spot becomes available prior to the game.
I didn't get that.
Nice.
But you missed it.
So, like, hold on. Like, what's... Oh my, I've missed a load of stuff here, lads. I know this is live here, but I've missed a load of stuff. I've got an email about like a personal Nuggets representative. Guys, I'm gonna email him right now. So game 3 is a home game, yeah?
Yeah.
Jawan Davis at teamkse.com is my contact. I'm openly saying it now. I'll give him a shout. I'll send him the videos of us chatting about the Nuggets, and who knows?
Yeah, that's what
it could be us sitting.
Just don't wear a Lakers shirt. Was it the one game that wasn't even the Lakers playing, and someone showed up in a Lakers jersey? It's like just to throw in a regular, because that's like a regular occurrence in the NBA. You go to like Oklahoma Dallas game or something, and someone's in a Lakers jersey.
Did you see the preview video for Sky NBA? They had the LA Clippers versus the Nuggets, and they had a guy in a Lakers shirt.
Oh, was it Danny Green, right? Last time we
had
that up the other night. It was a disaster. I bet you any money if we share it. I tell you what, guys, I'd ask you first of all, who needs to step up tonight? And just while I try and find that, who needs to step up tonight? And do you realistically think we can get a win tonight?
I mean, it's got to start with Jokic. He's got to set the tone because he has the clearest mismatch. Murray's gonna, he might, but it's hard. It's going to be a hard series for him. They got a lot of big guys on him, and he, the length and he feasts on those like turnaround mid-range jumpers sometimes when he doesn't have when nothing else is going. He likes to get into the groove with those, and it's hard when you have Kawhi and George like just switching, and even Marcus Morris. So it's got to start with Jokic just because of that mismatch, and he's got to start aggressive and not just inside, because we saw with Utah in game 2 that when they just post him up, like it's not as efficient because the other guys don't get involved and the offense doesn't flow. So it's got to be within the flow of the offense, and when the ball pops, and then he's got to finish strong and try to and the best thing would be like to get as many fouls as he can on Zubats, because they don't really like their last resort is Joakim Noah if he comes in, and I'd like to see that matchup. Like I like to see them try it after Montrez can't stop him. So he's got to start, and then eventually just has to trickle down. Everyone's got to be focused. That's like we had open shots in the second quarter when it got away from us. So a lot of missed 3-point shots. Like we shot more than Clippers did, and that's a good time. But they had one more make. Monte was 0-3 and he was kind of off. Like you can see him, just his legs weren't in it. Jamal was bad, and in his, with him you can see if it hits the front rim, like it's usually just his legs. And so like he's got to start to tone is with him. So.
Bro, I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask you this, right? There's a question here. If Murray doesn't show up this series, is he still going to be considered a superstar? Do you guys consider him as one? I'll say very quickly, I think he's just under that. I think he's so close to becoming that next step, that next level. And Brad, just before you answer the question, it's glad to hear that they have changed it. It is.
There we go.
2 a.m. baby, 2 a.m.
Hallelujah. There
And
we go.
apparently they dominated game 1. So thank you very much, Sky, for that.
Yeah.
The game is live on
Good.
main event and also live on Sky Sports Mix. If you
Good
don't have-
narrative. That's good.
Yes.
Please, well done, Sky. I did a lot of research on that one. Sorry. So yeah, Rogers wrapped that up pretty nicely. To be fair, I think personally, obviously Djokovic has definitely got to step up. But I think the whole team's got to step up from that first game. I mean, there's not one person you can single out there and say, "Oh, he was exceptional."
Yeah, Jeremy Grant was like good, but he
he was good, but even still, he was it's
sure.
kind of But yeah, if you had to give yourself a nugget man of the match, it would have been him, I guess. But to the other question, and Murray, I think the thing that's kept him from being a superstar has been the consistency. And the Jazz series, he showed some consistency. He needs to keep that momentum going. I mean, he's got the big contract, so he needs to start living up to that big contract. And I think there's a lot of people on him a bit last season because he wasn't quite with it. And I think some of them comments are probably pretty fair. I think the potential has always been there. The potential of him being a superstar is there. It's just being consistent. And I think if he does that, then he surely can be a superstar.
Yeah. I would say he's right below that tier. And the thing is that Max comes in next year, so you kind of, with these guys, you want to pay him first, and then he's going to play into it. And this technically was almost like an off season. This is almost like a start of the new season, but instead of playing, first half of the regular season with, half a foot on the gas pedal, they're starting with the playoff teams and the Clippers in the second round. So, consistency is going to be hard. And, you can say easily jump to a conclusion like, oh, see, he's inconsistent. He's not a superstar. But thing is, the matchup is just terrible. And, we will see. I hope when the regular season starts, he gets regularly over 20, and that would be like his average of like 23 to 24, 25 with Jokic. That's going to be his, and then explodes like on the big games and against good opponents, because that's where his next challenge is with that consistency and superstardom. So he can, he showed that he can be. So that's good.
Let's hope it happens. Let's hope. Please, God.
Yeah.
Right, here, guys. Obviously, the game is live tonight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in Serbia, like 5 a.m. in Russia. I don't even know anymore what the times are anymore, but it's like really early in America in comparison to us. I you know what, I'm going to say it here because I'll not get flack, but I loved it when they announced that Avs game last night was at 2 o'clock Mountain the night before, and everybody in Denver was fuming, and we were all buzzing. It was amazing. Apart from the result, oh my God. Let's hope Game 7 for the.
That's another chat. That one.
I'll tell you what, guys, if there is a Game 7 on that date, if there's no way they'll put it on the same, it'll be on earlier. Like, it will be on earlier than prime time. So we'll see what happens in that sense. Let's hope we get to that point. I'm going to email the Nuggets right now. I'm going to ask them for a seat at this game tonight. And I'm going to get a bit of paper and write Nuggets Europe baby on it. And if you see me, give me a shout on the if the team responds to me. Let's see. Sure. Here, so I'm going to say Nuggets are going to win by 2 points tonight. Voya, what do you think?
Go by 7.
Oh.
It's going to be close to a minute and a half left, and then Jokic's going to hit. Yeah, 7-10.
I'll split you. I'll go Nuggets by 5. I'm going to split the pair.
No, we're playing it safe here, lads. Like, let's
we are. Yeah.
There's something about 7. I want that 7 number.
Guys, I'll tell you what. If they score 7, I'll be sitting like this again. I'll be a very happy man. I'll tell you this, lads. Enjoy the game. Hopefully, we're talking after a win tonight. We win tonight. We're right back in this 1-1. And I think the momentum with Denver sports is almost there again if it happens. And it would shut a lot of people up if Nuggets could get a wee victory tonight. Lads, enjoy the game. And this is one last comment.
Absolutely.
Oh, a thumbs up. Thank you very much, Max. Everybody have a good night. Go Nuggets.
Go Nuggets. Enjoy
the NBA world. Peace.